In Tunisia, as in many developing countries, the private sector is called upon to play a more important role in economic development. In order to do this, it requires a favorable environment and access to well-adapted financial resources. The French development agency, AFD, and Proparco have been operating in Tunisia since 1992. One of its basic directives is to fund investment in private companies. 500 million euros have already been invested. 20 minutes from Tunis, Proparco has decided to back the construction of one of Northern Africa's biggest hospital complexes, specializing in cancer treatment. A number of Tunisian doctors, like Dr. Djerbi, were behind the Hannibal Clinic scheme.
In Tunisia, we only have one real cancer treatment center, and this public institution is submerged at the moment. Having a complete unit was something we were lacking in Tunisia, from screening through diagnosis to treatment and even ongoing care and patient support. So we wanted to set this project up. But you know that doctors alone cannot do this. They don't have the financial resources or the knowledge to set up a project on this scale. We were fortunate enough to meet a developer, Mr. Ziga, who was surrounded by a solid group of financiers.
Myself and the doctors and a few investors, we devised this project and appealed to fundraisers such as Proparco and Amen Bank and did all the necessary studies. We established a business plan and determined the cost of the project. And then we set up a company with a capital of 20 million dinars for an investment of around 35 million dinars.
In addition to their personal contributions, the shareholders have borrowed a further 15 million dinars, 7.5 million each from the Amen Bank, a Tunisian commercial bank, and from Proparco. Proparco's loan is over a 10-year period, but the first 4 years do not include capital reimbursement to avoid heavy expenditure in the clinic's first years of operation. We head for Nabeul, where Emmanuel Hay, a Proparco project manager, takes us to Medis, a pharmaceutical manufacturer. The Proparco AFD group has provided financing through Proparco's investment fund with a restructuring loan enabling the company to reschedule its debt.
It's a pharmaceutical laboratory which makes generic medicines, so it's an interesting subject. The products are between 30 and 40% cheaper than brand-name medicines.
These industrial projects take a great deal of time, as the gap between the manufacturing authorization for a generic product and actual commercialization can be up to 7 or 8 years. Lassad Bouchbel, pharmacist and founder of Medis, recounts this industrial adventure.
We experienced great financial difficulties and were obliged to increase our capital several times. Personally, I was so convinced by the project that I sold everything I owned to back it. But despite that, we couldn't overcome our problems. We managed to do so through the intervention of our financial partners and called on AFD, who granted us the necessary loans through Amen Bank.
In 2003, Amen Bank granted a loan of around 1 million euros over 10 years, which enabled the company to stabilize previous debt payments and to make a fresh start.
As of 2003, we managed to regain a balance in our financial planning. And in 2004, we had our first positive results. The results in 2005 were very encouraging. And we began to think about extending, to be able to operate on a broader African scale.
Tuninvest is the investment fund which helped Medis through hard times. Aziz Mebarek is one of its directors.
The company, in fact, is in private equity, which means we become shareholders of companies in the private sector. In Tunisia, in the Maghreb, and more generally, in several sub-Saharan countries. So we provide funding and also our expertise and our experience in industrial projects in the service sector. With MEDIS, we were involved from the start. It was an innovative project. Money had to be injected on several occasions, so we had to be tenacious and be convinced that the project was viable and profitable in the long term. The project concerns generic drugs, and one specific example would be for Alzheimer's, which is affecting more and more Tunisians. The leading product, Princeps, wasn't available 4 or 5 years ago, and when the product became available, it wasn't really accessible to the general public as it's very expensive. MEDIS worked on developing a generic version of Princeps, and I think that ultimately it's the Tunisian patients who reap the benefits.
MEDIS is now doing very well. The company has extended beyond the Tunisian borders and set up a subsidiary in Algeria. Another example is Soften, 30 minutes from Tunis, a Franco-Tunisian new energies company. To deal with the increasing demand from the Tunisian market, in 2007 the company decided to increase production capacity and build 5,000 square meters of new premises. Soften obtained a 10-year loan of some 350,000 euros from UCBI, the Tunisian subsidiary of BNP Paribas. Fabien Riguet is in charge of corporate loans for the bank.
We participated in the acquisition of a new factory in Tunisia for the Soften company. It was an important event for UCBI, as Soften is developing its activity in energy management, and that's one of UCBI's main concerns in the credit distribution sector. The funding was structurally organized in conjunction with the AFD and Proparco for the following reason. It's a loan over a long period, around 10 years, and as a Tunisian bank, we need long-term resources to be put up against the loan, and AFD and Proparco helped us to obtain them. So it's a long-term loan which enables Soften to stick to its repayment capacity for the purchase of this factory.
Thanks to its environmental policy, the Tunisian market for solar water heaters is expanding rapidly. 250,000 square meters have already been installed, and some 740,000 are planned from 2011. These three companies embody the role played by private enterprise. They create jobs, contribute to the state coffers, provide social services such as healthcare and education, and introduce innovations and new management methods. They're also at the heart of various environmental and social concerns. For these reasons, the AFD Proparco Group is continuing to accompany their development.